I never thought I'd be the one to blow up my boss's marriage in the middle of the company Christmas party. But when his wife cornered me by the punch bowl and asked point blank why her husband had been acting so distant for months, the words just spilled out. He's been seeing someone from accounting, I said, my voice barely above a whisper over the hum of the boombox playing Mariah Carey. Her face went pale under the string lights we'd hung that afternoon, and I immediately regretted opening my mouth. But after everything I'd seen, keeping quiet felt worse. It was December 1995 in our small marketing firm in suburban Chicago. I was 28, fresh off a divorce that left me broke and sleeping on my sister's couch, with my beat-up Toyota Corolla that always smelled like stale cigarettes from my ex. My boss, Mr. Harlan, early 40s, tall with slick-back dark hair and a perpetual tan from his golf weekends, was the kind of guy who'd built the company from his garage in the 80s. He had this confident swagger, always cracking jokes about the good old days before email took over, and he kept a worn leather briefcase that he'd had since college, stuffed with client files and a hidden flask. His wife, Linda, was a soft-spoken 38-year-old with curly auburn hair and kind eyes, who volunteered at the local library and baked cookies for every office event. She'd been suspicious for weeks because Harlan kept working late and coming home smelling like cheap perfume. My one weakness was that I hated confrontation, but after watching him flirt shamelessly with the new account coordinator Sarah during our team meetings, using that same charm he'd once used to mentor me when I started as a junior copywriter 2 years ago, I felt this knot of guilt building. Sarah was 24, ambitious with bright red lipstick and a habit of twirling her pen during pitches, and I knew their affair started after that late-night deadline rush last summer when I caught them in his office. Harlan had pulled me aside afterward, promising a promotion if I kept quiet, playing on my fear of losing my job right when I needed the stability most. Things escalated fast once the party kicked off. The open plan office was decked out with tinsel and a fake tree, the smell of eggnog and cigarette smoke mixing in the air from the smokers huddled by the windows. Harlan was laughing loudly with the sales guys, his tie loosened, while Linda chatted with the secretaries about holiday recipes. I tried to stay in the background, nursing a warm beer from the cooler, but Linda found me and started asking innocent questions that turned pointed. You've always been honest with me, right? Like that time you helped with the charity drive? She said, her voice trembling slightly. I dodged at first, mumbling about how busy things had been with the big client pitch, but she pressed, mentioning how Harlan's pager kept going off at odd hours and how he'd snap at her when she asked. My mind raced back to that afternoon in the copy room when I'd overheard him on the phone with Sarah, whispering promises about leaving Linda after the holidays. The guilt hit me hard because I'd benefited from his favoritism, better assignments, that small raise last quarter, but seeing Linda's hurt eyes, I couldn't keep carrying his secret anymore. There was a small twist when another coworker overheard part of our talk and tried to pull me away, whispering that it wasn't my business, but I shook him off, feeling this surge of righteousness mixed with dread. Harlan noticed us talking from across the room, his smile fading as he started making his way over, dodging the dancing crowd under the flickering fluorescent lights we'd never quite fixed. The explosion came right as "All I Want for Christmas Is You" blasted through the speakers. Harlan reached us, his face flushed, and demanded to know what was going on in that booming voice that usually closed deals. Linda turned to him with tears streaming, repeating what I'd said, and the whole room seemed to freeze. Conversations dying, plastic cups pausing mid-sip. Harlan denied it at first, calling me a liar and saying I was jealous after my own marriage fell apart. But when Linda pulled out his pager from her purse, something she'd grabbed from his desk earlier, and showed the messages from Sarah that I'd secretly suspected were there, his excuses crumbled. He sputtered about office misunderstandings and tried to grab my arm, but I stepped back, my heart pounding as coworkers whispered and stared. Linda slapped him hard across the face, the sound echoing over the music, then stormed out into the snowy parking lot, her coat half on. I stood there frozen, the weight of what I'd done crashing down while Harlan shot me a look of pure betrayal before chasing after her. Update. 2 days later, Harlan called me into his office and quietly let me go, citing restructuring, though we both knew the real reason. The office felt colder without the usual banter, and I heard through the grapevine that Linda had moved out temporarily. Update. 3 weeks later, things have settled a bit. I've got a new gig at a smaller agency across town, and surprisingly, Linda reached out via a mutual friend to thank me for not letting her live in the dark, even if it hurt. But nights are long thinking about whether I crossed a line by intervening in their marriage instead of minding my own damaged life. The promotion he dangled feels hollow now, and I'm left wondering if silence would have been kinder, or if truth always demands a price. So, AITA for telling the truth when she asked, or should I have stayed out of it?